El Niño is a natural phenomenon that happens every 2 to 7 years or so. And it's really the warming up of the central and eastern tropical Pacific Ocean. And when those warm temperatures happen in the ocean, they kind of drag the cloud with them. So the warmth goes towards the Americas, the cloud and the rain goes over there too. Tends to be wetter in California, Texas, and drier in Australia.
Okay, and how strong an El Niño is this one expected to be? Because they do vary, don't they?
Yeah, they definitely vary in strength, and for Australia, luckily, the strength doesn't always match the strength of the impacts. But this one is looking particularly strong, most likely at least around 2 degrees warmer than normal. And well, Australia typically triggers off, or rather declares an El Niño at about 0.8 of a degree above normal. So yeah, getting reasonably strong, this one. But yeah, we're still in neutral, hasn't been declared yet.
Okay, so when is it due to make itself felt in Australia when it is declared?
Yeah, well, typically we see impacts starting to arrive around about now. During the winter and the spring, we've already got some very dry conditions out there in New South Wales and parts of southern Queensland, parts of western Victoria and South Australia, even into bits of Tassie as well. So sometimes you do see a few impacts emerging early on, including we've had a very warm May as well. But the only problem is sometimes disentangling climate change from El Niño is the tricky job, because they both have similar impacts.
Okay, so can you disentangle it for us then? Which is climate change and which is El Niño?
Or maybe we'll flip that around a little bit. The ones where both climate change and El Niño impact us is, well, both suggest or typically raise the odds of periods of drought, both raise the odds of more extreme temperatures and heat waves, both raise the odds of fire weather, unfortunately, getting into the summer, and at the end of the summer, both unfortunately raise the risk of coral bleaching and marine heat waves. So we do need to watch out and not blame El Niño for everything, but likewise not blame climate change for everything as well.
So how extreme a bushfire season lies ahead then, Andrew?
Well, if we do have a typical sort of El Niño cycle, then we would get a drying out of the landscape, particularly in eastern Australia and in our big forests, eucalypt forests and so on, by the summer, and we'd also have a hotter lead-in to the summer as well, which usually raises the bushfire risk. But typically we get our big fires at the end of multi-year droughts, so probably next year would be the bigger risk if El Niño hangs around.
Okay, what about farmers? Reportedly they're very worried.
Yeah, and that's understandable. Farmers have put up with droughts related to El Niño before, and unfortunately they're already experiencing longer dry periods because of the changing climate and the climate pollution that's causing that. Look, they'll also be watching out for the heat. And oddly enough, talking about heat, actual frost risk goes up during the spring as well because of the clear skies at night. They're dealing with the diesel issues as well, and the loss of fertiliser, or difficulty in getting fertiliser. So they've got a number of things on their plate at the moment. El Niño is another one.
Just finally, Andrew, we talked about farmers and bushfires. How else could an El Niño pattern affect Australians? What should people be prepared for in day-to-day life?
Well, we certainly need to be prepared for a warmer period, a hotter year, and globally basically El Niños lead to the record hottest years. 2024 was the previous global record, and unfortunately either this year or next year will probably go over that 1.5 degrees limit again because of the impact of climate change and El Niño together. So a hot year, a dry year, and some fire issues towards the end is unfortunately what El Niño would typically bring.